Toma 4.
Hello friends, on this show of Toma 4, I'm gonna try to make the point that I have a better solution for immigration than Donald Trump has. That is what I'm gonna try to attempt over here. And I'm gonna make two bases for the solution that I have. Basically, if you want to solve any problem, you have to go to the root of the problem. You see, Trump wants to build a wall to deal with the immigrants, but the immigrants are just symptoms of the problem. I'm gonna fix it up for real, and I'm gonna show you why.
Toma 4.
For my argument, I want to first set two different bases. The first one, the main reason of immigration worldwide, it's world inequality. You see, there are mainly 4 different routes of immigration in the world. One of them is our southern border, people coming from Mexico and Central America mainly. Another one is from Europe to from Africa to Europe, and you see that on the news all the time, people crossing in different ships, and every now and then something happens and they died in the middle of the Mediterranean Sea. The third big route of immigration is from the Middle East to Europe. There's also war and all the things that are going on. And the other main route of immigration is from Southeast Asia going to Australia. Notice that in all of those main routes of immigration, it's people going from poor nations to rich nations. So that is a very good proof that the main issue causing world migration has to do with world inequality.
Toma 4.
The second part of the argument is that maybe we could use ancient knowledge in order to solve inequality, which is, in our opinion, the root of the problem. And once we solve inequality, then we will not have to deal with immigration, because immigration is just a symptom. We go back to Art of War, ancient military tactic books by General Sun Tzu. I hope I'm not mispronouncing his name. On that book, one of the teachings is when you have an enemy army surrounded, never totally surround them. Always open some kind of path so that they could get away. Because if you totally surround them, you put them on a position in which they will have to fight for their lives. And it will be very tough to defeat an enemy that has that kind of determination. Actually, on the final battle of the war, the one in which he wins the whole war, he wins using that tactic. But that time he positions his own army in a way in which the only choice that they have was to fight for their lives. They were in a position in which they could not get away. They had to fight, and he ends up winning the war. Now, what if we use that kind of ancient knowledge and tactic to solve world inequality?
Toma 4.
So the question that you're probably asking yourself now is, how are we going to use Art of War, ancient military tactic to solve world inequality? Okay, let me attempt to do that. The people like us that is lucky enough to live in the wealthy developed nations, the ugly stuff that goes around the world, poverty, hunger, huge inequality, it's something that we see on TV. It's something that happens in Africa, South America, and in Asia. It doesn't feel like it's really close, and we could always take part in one of those charities and write the monthly $20 bill and send a letter to the little kid, and that makes us feel better. but we know that that is not going to solve the problem. So this is what I'm going to propose. What if we position ourselves on a similar situation of General Sun Tzu's army? What if we position ourselves in a way in which we cannot ignore the ugliness that goes in the world? How could we do that? And this is my proposition. This is why I have a better plan than Trump. What if we totally eliminate all borders and we create a world without borders? You know what will happen? What will happen is that the poor and the hungry from all around the world is going to migrate in huge numbers to the places around the planet in which there is wealth. They will go to America, they will go to Europe, they will go to Australia. And maybe, only maybe, when we have that ugliness right in front of our faces and we cannot ignore it anymore, just like General Sun Tzu's army could not ignore that the only choice that they have was to fight for their life, maybe at that point we are going to have no choice but to fix world inequality. And once we fix world inequality, we're not going to have any problem with immigration.
Toma 4.
In order to fix immigration, okay, and this is the point that we are trying to deliver, we will need to have the honesty to look at the issue in all of its complexity and to go to its root. If we don't have the courage and the honesty to look at the problem in all of its complexity and go deep to its root, maybe, and only maybe, the problem is us.
Toma 4.